Tonight, the Port Augusta Dustbusters team up with Greenpeace in a bid to fight the former power station dust issue. An emergency services race to the Broken Hill Airport. But is this situation real?
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. A grassroots campaign to raise awareness about Port Augusta's fly ash problem is about to get a whole lot stronger. The Port Augusta Dustbusters are teaming up with Greenpeace, which will ramp up the message ahead of the state election next month.
As a former employee of the now defunct Alinta Power Station, Brett Prentice knows firsthand what lies on the power station site.
There's still coal dust coming off the old coal stockpile, so that's been closed for done for 2 years as well now, and these events just keep happening.
Now he's joined the Port Augusta Dustbusters group in a bid to stop the toxic dust.
People of Port Augusta have put up with it for too long.
While the Port Augusta Council has taken up legal arms against Flinders Power and the EPA, the Dustbusters have partnered with Greenpeace Australia.
And they also want to promote what's happening here to other states that are also having coal-fired power stations closed down, to make them aware of what the path not to go down.
If we can work with the communities to use the expertise we already have and the support we already have to help them with their campaigns, then really that's the perfect way of doing it.
Greenpeace and the Dustbusters group are hoping to raise $20,000 to fund advertising of the issue.
The community is concerned that Flinders Power is going to just walk away and leave the Port Augusta community with this environmental hazard, and they're just going to run out of money.
The group is calling on whichever party is successful at the election to fix the problem once and for all.
The more attention we can raise on that, and the more likely we are for the Dustbusters to win their campaign.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Lynn Brewer has returned to her role as Whyala's mayor after a fortnight off to deal with an assault allegation. She addressed the case at last night's monthly meeting, stating she will fight the charges and won't be standing down. She was reported last month over the alleged assault of Angela Antonio at last year's Remembrance Day ceremony. She'll face court in Whyala next month. The Barranca Village at Port Broughton will undergo a multi-million-dollar upgrade. It's hoped the facility will soon care for all ages by introducing a childcare centre in the near future.
It's an upgrade set to revolutionise aged care in the region. The Barranca Village is known for its butterfly model, for which it's won multiple awards. Now the aged care facility will be expanding its renowned work even further.
We are building an additional 40 rooms and we will be able to care for 75 people.
The new centre will provide people living in the home with state-of-the-art facilities.
And the benefits to the residents is immense. As they get older and frailer, it's difficult to transport them around.
Modern allied health rooms and recreational facilities open to the entire community will also be included in the development.
A hairdresser, a coffee shop, and a gym. The residents can interact with people from the wider community and enjoy services that the wider community enjoy now.
The idea of developing a new childcare facility within the building is also on the drawing board.
Port Broughton doesn't offer a lot of childcare, and our experience is that the young mums are restricted as to how many hours they can work.
The upgrade will create 18 full-time and ongoing jobs.
Carers, nurses, allied health professionals, admin type staff.
22 contractors have been employed to develop the site, which is expected to put $4.8 million back into the local economy.
This current stage will be finished in June this year, and we'll be looking for expressions of interest for these new places on our website.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Emergency services were strewn across the Broken Hill Airport today, but there was no need to worry. Crews took part in a training exercise, a simulation of a local pilot suffering a medical episode on the tarmac.
Taking their time to get it done right. We've whacked our plan into place.
This morning, police, fire and ambulance crews shut down a runway at Broken Hill Airport. At the end of the path, a pilot in trouble.
He's had difficulty on taking off, medical emergency, which requires, under the circumstances, a full emergency management response.
The exercise put each department through its paces in order to figure out how best to respond to an emergency situation. Each agency had an umpire monitoring the crews to analyse their every move.
It's about being ready for it if something does happen and having an appropriate response for the public and those involved, but also ensuring the safety of those emergency services who may be involved in the response.
Firefighters secured the plane while Ambos provided medical assistance to the pilot. Police watched on from a distance, controlling the site. They managed to get the pilot out of the Cessna aircraft and into an ambulance.
No doubt there'll be issues raised at the debrief, as there always is, but this is what this process is about. Testing it in calm times and then putting it into practice when we have to.
After the debrief, a committee will discuss the airport's emergency plan to see if anything needs to be changed. And while today's exercise was just a simulation, authorities say
it's about having an adequate response to any incident that may occur out here.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
After the break, the Clare Valley Aerodrome up for a massive upgrade. The details next. The state government has pledged nearly $400,000 towards upgrading the Clare Valley Aerodrome. The local flying group just needs federal government approval before the redevelopment gets off the ground.
Securing the future of the Clare Valley Aerodrome with a $1 million project.
The state government has committed $395,000, subject to the federal government giving the $395,000.
The Clare Valley Council have pledged $100,000. The state government, via Jeff Brock, $395,000. We have a $50,000 in-kind commitment from the Clare Quarry.
The aerodrome will be upgraded to an all-weather facility with a sealed runway and lighting. It'll allow for 24-hour landing capabilities.
At the moment, we've only got a dirt strip, which is not rain fast, i.e. we need an hour and a half after a rain before we can safely land aircraft.
The flying group says it'll open up the possibility of commercial flights in and out of the region, boosting tourism and the local economy.
Actual commercial operators saying, well, wow, Clare Valley, Borough, the Gilbert Valleys, they're great places to come and visit, and we can drop in and out for a day. If we want to go at night, we can.
Once funding is matched by the federal government, construction work will begin immediately. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Port Augusta's Cultural Centre could be next on the chopping block as part of Council's service review. It's considering moving its Hearts hub to another building or slashing staff hours in a bid to cut costs.
Port Augusta's Hub for the Arts was originally opened at the Fountain Gallery before moving down the road a decade ago. In a bid to save cash, Council is now considering moving it back.
The intent is to look at where we're spending money on a facility we don't actually own. Council actually leases this building from state government.
The Port Augusta Cultural Centre consists of the Art Gallery, Old Barracks and the Towns Institute Theatre. Council says a loss in government funding has made upkeep and insurance costs too much to handle.
Unfortunately, Country Arts removed some funding that we did receive in up till June last year.
The centre's future is now up for discussion. One option is to cut the opening hours from 6 to 2.5 days a week. Another is shifting the arts program to the Fountain Gallery. One online petition against any changes has reached over 350 signatures, with concerns it won't attract high-quality art. While reports and costings will be complete in the coming months, the Deputy Mayor is encouraging people to have their say.
And what will happen is the community will hear a lot more and they'll learn a lot more about what we do as a council and about what we do in the city, and that's what we want them to do.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Port Lincoln's iconic Puncala Trail and Skate Park is set for a major redevelopment. It's part of a nearly $5 million grant which will fund 17 regional projects in a bid to revive popular social hubs.
It's a big step in the right direction to rejuvenate popular precincts.
A lot of people use the Puncala Trail and this area through the wharf is a difficult spot to negotiate.
The iconic Pancala Trail connects both sides of Port Lincoln. In recent years, though, the busy wharf area has suffered from erosion, making it unsafe for users.
Major concern for the Port Authorities and for Flinders Ports. Properly control the movements of both traffic and pedestrians.
Passengers arriving during the busy cruise ship period have been greeted by weathered facilities. Now, new investment from the state government will return the wharf to ship shape.
Particularly waterfront facilities is a very common area for investment, so we think it makes a big difference.
The $100,000 injection will be matched by the Port Lincoln Council, paving the way for the city's tourism.
Having a properly delineated path that directs them through to the city, 10-minute walk.
Port Lincoln Skate Park will also receive a kick, the SA government dropping in $200,000 to revamp it for a safer and more accessible precinct for local kids.
It's a good idea to have a safe and modern facility for them, so we think this is a very valuable investment in Port Lincoln.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, a back-to-back win for a Port Lincoln yacht in the Tegel Classic. That's next. The main pool at the Whyalla Leisure Centre is set to reopen tomorrow morning. A faulty pipe forced the closure of the popular activity area, but management is excited to get it back up and running.
It's arguably one of the town's most popular assets, with the leisure centre's main pool a hive for community activities. A pipe leak forced it offline last month, something council says threw it in the deep end.
In about 3 metres of concrete, and it involved us essentially a bit of trial and error to find out where this pipe went. We didn't have schematic plans.
It's now officially fixed though. Staff spent today restarting the pumps and cleaning the site. It'll reopen tomorrow to the relief of management.
Queries from members and just from the public in general asking what's going on with the pool while it's shut and how long it's going to be till it's open again.
It means school swimming lessons, the swim club and other activities can finally resume.
All of that along with the general public that like to come in and just use the pool for leisure, so it'll be great to be able to reopen tomorrow.
Sections of the centre will still be off limits as final checks to the repairs are completed.
The last thing we want to do is cap it and find out something's not quite right. You will still see some safety barriers. We're taking a risk-averse approach.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Port Lincoln's secret men's business has been crowned the champions of the Adelaide to Lincoln Tegel Classic. The yacht race was unique this year, with unusually light conditions and virtually no wind challenging the competitors.
As yachts lined the sea, it was a fast and furious dash to begin the race. Boats were just metres from colliding with one another. 38 vessels launched in the Adelaide to Lincoln race. The sunny conditions made for a picture-perfect start compared to previous years. But the light breeze hampered the boats in a different way, making it the slowest race in a decade.
I don't think we saw much over about 12 knots in breeze, and I think we're about 7 minutes 20 outside the record that we would have liked to have taken off the Victorians.
The flat environment brought up some curious onlookers, which did little to calm rivalries.
We had a great trip across and good competition with Concubine and Shining Sea. We're watching their progress the whole way.
Sailors accustomed to no sleep and little food had more time to soak up the experience, while skippers traded different tactics.
Look, I think we played the shifts better than they did. We watched their track and they took just big legs, we did short ones.
In the end, it was Port Lincoln Yacht's secret men's business which crossed the line first, followed closely by Shining Sea. Jeff Bocher thankful for a lucky breeze, giving his men the honour.
We broke away a couple of times from them, and at the end here, thank goodness we broke away again.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
To some local sport now, and there's been plenty of action across the regions over the past week. Patrick Reinke joins us now, and there were some close games in Port Pirie baseball, Pat.
That's right, Fraser. The Port Pirie Night Baseball League didn't fail to entertain in both the majors and minors this week, with 2 games going down to the wire. A walk-off double from Ken Fay saw Cats White beat Tigers in a tight tussle, while Cats Blue also had a close win over the Panthers. In the majors, a walk-off single in the last innings of the night from Danny Champion got his side over the line by just 1 run. A true champion effort. To Whyalla baseball now, and Roadies had a night to remember. Squaring off against Tigers in both B grade and A grade, Roadies got the job done comfortably, even smashing 19 runs in one of the games. Staying in Whyalla, and the softball was one-sided. Tigers thumped Spears 13-4, and Eagles celebrated a top-notch 9-run win. A bit of Port Pirie tennis now, and as finals approach, games are getting tight. Risdon Uniting stamped their authority over Trinity Gold, while in the clash of the railways, Railway Green beat Railway Black 6 sets 39 to 4 sets 35. Finishing with some basketball now, and in Port Pirie, Ducks managed to snag their second win of the season, upsetting second place Globetrotters. 28 points from Lachlan Nibbs led up the night, with the star player sinking 6 from downtown. In the second game, topside Pacers breezed past Tomcats 53-25. In Port Lincoln, Rangers Blue got the best of Rangers White, Lincoln South Yellow edged out Peckers Green, and Sharks smashed Lincoln South Blue. Cody Rosalia, Jacob Collins and Carl Olds combined to score 60 of the Sharks' 70 points. Good effort, lads. And moving into Port Augusta, Cobras have now made it 14 straight wins after downing Wildcats grey, and the Titans couldn't do enough in their game. So Fraser, plenty of sport happening around the regions at the moment. It's great to see. And a reminder, if you want your sports results on Southern Cross News, send them through to localsport@sca.com.au.
Good on you, Pat. Thank you. We'll stay with us after the break. We'll have all the local weather details with Abby Donaldson. And Abby, it was a hot one around the region today.
It was, Fraser, and the heat is here to stay, but some relief is on the way. I'll tell you when next. Welcome back. Well, it was a warm day across all centres. Sweltering temps in Port Augusta, 38 the top there. 34 was the max for Whyalla. It was warmer in the west too, 29 the top for Port Lincoln with a shower here or there. And the mercury soared to 36 degrees in Port Pirie. Now on the satellite, clouds spreading from the west ahead of a trough and cold front may bring some rain or storms overnight, and it's generally clear everywhere else with a high pressure system. On the waters for your Wednesday, we'll see easterly winds shifting southeasterly up to 20 knots, seas at 1.5 metres, and sunrise is just before 7 a.m. tomorrow. Now looking at tomorrow's forecast, we'll see some cloud cover about in Port Augusta, Whyalla, Woodner and Corn. Still very warm conditions there as temps hover around the low to mid-30s. And that cloud cover is expected to bring some rain in the west, 26 the top for Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay. Again, a cloudy day's in store for all other centres except for Broken Hill, 35 the top there. So to the rest of the week, expect showers for the rest of the week in Port Lincoln. It warms up to 32 degrees on Thursday, but cools down to a pleasant 25 degrees for your Saturday plans. It's a mixed bag of weather in Cleve, cloudy and humid tomorrow, before the mercury soars to a hot 36 degrees on Thursday, but we'll see some fine and refreshing temps on Saturday. It's going to be a scorcher in Woodner on Thursday, 39 the top, but it'll cool off by Saturday. Further up the Gulf, lots of cloud cover about tomorrow for all centres, and it will feel quite humid too. The sunshine returns on Thursday, but that heat is going to pack a punch. 37 the top for Whyalla and Kadina, and a sweltering 39 the top for Port Augusta. But the good news is we'll see some much more bearable conditions on Saturday. And lastly, these hot temps are going to remain until Friday with some scattered showers forecast for Port Pirie and Clare on Thursday. But temps drop to the mid to high 20s by the weekend with a shower here or there on Saturday, while it's going to remain hot in Broken Hill. So Fraser will see some cloudy and humid conditions for most centres this week before a cool change brings relief from the heat just in time for the weekend.
Thanks, Abby. A look at tonight's top stories now. A grassroots campaign to raise awareness about Port Augusta's fly ash problem is about to get a whole lot stronger. The Port Augusta Dustbusters are teaming up with Greenpeace, which will ramp up the message ahead of the state election next month. Lynn Brewer has returned to her role as Whyalla's mayor after a fortnight off to deal with an assault allegation. She addressed the case at last night's monthly meeting, stating she will fight the charges and won't be standing down. And the Barranca Village at Port Broughton will undergo a multi-million-dollar upgrade. It's hoped the facility will soon care for all ages by introducing a childcare centre in the near future. That's the news this Tuesday. Thanks for your company. I'll have some updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.